Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. We have an absolutely electric feed today. We're guiding you through 14 essential posts covering, well, everything. Geopolitical AI compute, shifts in open source, a huge crypto surge, and a really tragic public safety story out of San Francisco. We're moving quick and sharp. Let's jump right in with the global giants.
Okay, first up, the AI arms race. The scale is just staggering. AI analyst Rohan Paul posted this. Chaucy's U.S. versus China numbers here are unbelievable. The U.S. controls the absolute majority of known AI training compute, continues to build the biggest, most power-hungry clusters. China is spending heavily to close the gap.
Yeah, and it's worth looking at that gap. Epoch AI data suggests the U.S. holds about, 68% of global AI compute capacity?
68%.
Yeah,
Wow.
China's back around 14%. And yeah, they are pouring money in like a $98 billion AI capital expenditure forecast for this year alone.
Okay, but hold on. If they're spending that much, and we just saw that allowance for chips like Nvidia's H20, are the U.S. export restrictions actually working? How long can the U.S. really maintain that lead? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The capital's there, sure. But turning cash into actual compute performance, especially at the cutting edge, that takes time. The U.S. lead isn't just hardware. It's memory bandwidth. It's the next-gen fabs. And crucially, it's the software ecosystems. The stuff that actually makes these massive clusters work together efficiently.
Oh, okay. So the H20 chip helps trying to build maybe foundational stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't solve the whole puzzle.
Pretty much. The U.S. advantage in overall system efficiency, that optimized software stack, that's what's really slowing down China's push for domestic alternatives. It's the whole package deal.
Got it. Okay, let's pivot from global infrastructure to a very specific technical problem.
Yeah.
Stale data in AI. Avi Chawla points this out. RA can't keep up with real-time data. Airweave builds live bitemporal knowledge bases so that your agents always reason on the freshest facts.
Right. So R-Rid retrieval augmented generation, it's a common technique, but it often uses data that was true but isn't anymore, becomes outdated fast. This Airweave, it's an open source framework trying to fix that. They use something called a bitemporal knowledge base.
Bitemporal. Okay, quick explanation.
Sure. It's actually pretty critical for making these AI agents reliable. Bitemporal means it tracks two different times. First, the time the event was actually valid, like when the fact happened.
Okay.
And second, the update time when the system actually recorded that fact. Think of it like, a library card catalog needing both the publication date and the date it was added to the shelf.
Right. So the AI knows not just what happened, but when it was valid and when it learned it. Makes sense for trust.
Exactly. Ensures the agents aren't acting on old news without realizing it.
Okay, wrapping up this first segment on the dev front. A big win for affordable AI tools. Victor Mustar posted about this open source combo. Another open source win. Opencode plus GLM 4.6 is basically Claude code. Use it all day, but insanely cheap, plus better TUI. And you can use it with your Hugging Face token now.
Yeah, this is definitely causing waves in the coding community. Opencode, that's a terminal-based AI coding interface paired with this newer GLM 4.6 model from Zippo AI. It's shaping up to be a really strong, high-performance alternative to expensive platforms like Anthropic's Claude Code.
And the key is, it's cheap and good.
That's the kicker. He mentions it's insanely cheap and has a better TUI terminal user interface. Plus, easy integration with Hugging Face. It just shows how fast open source is catching up or even sometimes surpassing the pricey proprietary systems. The pace is just relentless.
Okay, let's shift from the code itself to how AI learns. Dwarkesh Patel was reflecting on that big Richard Sutton interview. He posted, "Boy, do you guys have a lot of thoughts about the Richard Sutton interview. I've been thinking about it myself."
And the core of that debate that Sutton brought up is this idea that large language models are kind of inefficient, because they learn by imitating static human data, right? Not through continuous on-the-job reinforcement learning like we do.
Like the imitation versus experience thing. But Patel had a counter-argument, didn't he? That maybe imitation learning isn't a bug, it's a feature. Or at least a necessary step.
Exactly. Patel's take is that imitation learning acts as this vital, scalable starting point. A prior, he calls it. It's like, think fossil fuels bootstrapping renewables. It gives the AI this massive initial knowledge base, this world model, built from human text and data.
So it jumpstarts the process.
Precisely. It makes the later, more efficient reinforcement learning, the learning by doing part, actually feasible and scalable. You need that initial foundation to build on, especially at the massive scale these models operate at.
Interesting parallel. Okay, next up. AI and consuming content, specifically news. Uruf Srinivas from Perplexity announced a big partnership. Update on Comet Plus, a new subscription plan meant for both humans and AIs to consume news. Washington Post, CNN, Condé Nast have come on board to be our launch partners.
Yeah, this is significant. It's about bridging the gap between AI needing high-quality data and publishers needing to get paid for it. Perplexity is launching this Comet Plus. If you're a Poi or Max user, you get access to premium paywalled news content from major players, CNN, WAPO, Wired, Fortune, even Le Monde internationally with no extra cost.
So seamless access for the user, and presumably Perplexity pays the publishers.
That seems to be the model. It tackles two problems. Gives publishers a revenue stream from AI use, and it gives AI agents access to reliable, professionally vetted information, which ties back to that stale data problem we just talked about. You want trustworthy inputs.
Definitely. Okay, now from consuming content to generating it. This one, well, it feels like a huge leap. Signal posted a clip saying, it's absolutely unhinged that we've already reached the point where you could spin up a full episode of something like Family Guy or South Park or Futurama without writers, animators, voice actors, etc.
Right. That post included an AI-generated video clip, probably using something like Sora, that just nailed the style. It was South Park, I think. Cartman moving to Kitchener, Ontario, getting into Tim Hortons.
Wait, it got the specific visual and narrative style? Like it felt like a real episode?
Apparently so. And that's the unhinged part. It's not just a tech demo anymore. It shows that text-to-video AI can potentially create endless, personalized episodes on demand.
Okay, my brain just jumped to intellectual property. If AI can perfectly mimic Cartman-style voice everything in a totally new scenario, what does that do to the traditional model of licensing characters and hiring studios? Is that just over?
That's the massive question hanging over this, isn't it? It fundamentally challenges the entire supply side of entertainment. If you can replicate the style, the characters, the humor, infinitely personalized to any prompt, your reliance on the traditional production pipeline writers, animators, actors, it starts to look very different. Maybe even evaporates in some cases.
It forces a whole rethink of what owning creative IP even means when mimicry becomes this easy and scalable.
Wild.
Absolutely wild.
Right. Let's switch gears to macroeconomics. A bit drier, maybe, but hugely impactful. Venture capitalist Mark Andreessen posted a chart.
Just a chart of interest rates and a single emoji.
Huh. Yeah, the emoji. That chart showed the Fed funds rate, which, as you know, has been stuck up around 4.5% since 2023. Pretty high, historically speaking. Andreessen's implication there, without saying a word, is that these persistent high rates, maybe more than just flashy AI hype, are the real reason the white-collar job market has cooled off so much, especially in tech. The layoffs we keep seeing.
Okay, connect the dots for us. Why do high interest rates hit tech jobs? Specifically software jobs, so hard? We hear about it constantly, but what's the actual mechanism?
It really boils down to the cost of capital.
Right.
Tech companies, especially the growth-focused ones that aren't hugely profitable yet, they run on borrowing money debt, venture funding. When rates go up, borrowing gets way more expensive. And just as importantly, the investors, the VCs, they start demanding profitability much faster. Less patience for moonshots.
So companies shift focus.
Exactly. They shift from ambitious expansion, big R&D projects, stuff that needs lots of engineers and managers, towards efficiency, cutting costs, becoming profitable now. And that chart he posted, it shows rates aren't expected to drop much until maybe 2027. So this pressure for efficiency, it's likely sticking around for a while.
Oof. Okay, that economic pressure, it links straight into the integrity of the data these AI models run on. Chamath Palihapitiya flagged a major security risk. Corrupt websites plus high order search ranking, simplest way to manipulate AI training data. Need training to move to synthetic data that isn't subject to these hacks ASAP.
Yeah, this is a really critical warning about trust in AI safety. Chamath's basically saying that standard SEO search engine optimization can be weaponized. People can game search rankings to push websites with subtly corrupted or misleading information to the top. And since AI models are trained on huge scrapes of the web,
They end up learning the bad data because it ranks highly.
precisely, it's like poisoning the well. Attackers don't even need complex hacks. They just use SEO to inject biased or false info into the training data for these massive foundational models.
So the very thing that makes search useful ranking becomes a vulnerability for AI. That's concerning.
It really is. And his proposed solution is a shift towards synthetic data generated specifically for training, which isn't vulnerable to this kind of web manipulation. He argues we need to move that way quickly to maintain the integrity of future AI.
Wow. Okay. Deep breath. Now for maybe the most surprising tech detail of the day. Lori Wired posted something that just broke my brain a little. Virtual machines render slots. It's kind of insane. TrueType has its own instruction set, memory stack, and function calls.
Isn't that wild? The core idea here is that fonts, like the TrueType fonts your computer uses all the time, they aren't just static pictures of letters. They are literally executable code. They contain a small, stack-based virtual machine inside them. It has its own memory, its own instruction set, over 100 opcodes, like tiny assembly language commands.
Okay, wait. A virtual machine?
Yeah.
Inside a font file?
Yeah.
Why? What does it do?
It's mostly used for something called glyph hinting. Basically telling pixels how to align perfectly to make the letters look sharp and clear at different sizes on your screen. But the fact that this hidden computational engine exists, well, that matters.
How so? What are the implications?
Two big ones. First, security. Because it's executable code, it's been exploited. There was malware, like the Duca worm, that actually used vulnerabilities in the Windows font rendering engine to gain kernel-level access. Really serious stuff.
Wow. Okay, and the second?
Creativity, maybe? Or just pure technical curiosity. People have used this hidden complexity for wild projects. Like, there was one called llama.ttf where developers managed to embed a 15 million parameter language model inside a font file.
You're kidding. A language model in a font?
Yep. You could type exclamation marks and it would generate little stories. It just completely changes how you think about what a simple font file is or what it could be.
Mind blown. Okay. From hidden complexity to very visible consequences. AI wealth. Didi Das pointed out the sheer scale of the OpenAI windfall. OpenAI employees sold $6.06 of equity if they held for more than 20 shares when they had 770 employees. That's $8.05 per employee on average. Thanks ChatGPT for absolutely destroying the SF real estate market.
Yeah, that number, $6.6 billion in equity sold in that recent secondary offering, is just enormous. It was based on that staggering $500 billion valuation. And the average payout for employees who'd been there over 2 years, $8.5 million each.
$8.5 million. Average?
Yeah, average. It's a massive liquidity event, not just numbers on paper, but actual cash-hitting bank accounts. And you can immediately see the ripple effects, right? Huge impact on local economies like San Francisco housing, spending. Plus, it makes keeping those employees incredibly difficult when a big chunk of your workforce are suddenly multi-millionaires.
Right. That $8.5 million average, it just warps the economic landscape.
Yeah.
But let's contrast that immense wealth generation with the city's other reality, the street-level public safety crisis. Daniel Groth posted something really sobering. Public drug use is not someone's personal choice with only personal effects. Allowing it creates high-stakes, desperate situations where people get hurt and killed.
Yeah, that post is referencing a truly tragic event. The fatal shooting of Joey Alexander, a 60-year-old worker for Urban Alchemy. He was apparently killed after asking someone to stop using drugs publicly near San Francisco's main library. It just highlights the incredibly high stakes and the vulnerability of people, often unarmed workers, trying to intervene in these situations.
And what does the source material say about how effective programs like Urban Alchemy actually are? Is there data?
There is. Their interventions have shown real results, cutting overall crime by 52%, drug offenses by 80% in the areas they target, so they do make a difference. But this incident is just a brutal reminder that even effective interventions can't eliminate the inherent danger. When you have concentrated public drug use and the desperation that often accompanies it, interacting with that carries immense risk. Especially when, blocks away, billions in tech wealth are being generated. The contrast is stark.
Incredibly stark.
Okay.
Shifting from the streets to the digital markets, Watch Your Guru reported a huge jump in crypto. Just in, over $130 million added to the crypto market cap today.
Yeah, $130 billion flowing into the crypto market cap in just 24 hours. That's a massive number, even for crypto. It looks like it was driven mainly by Bitcoin surging past $118,000, but also strong gains in other majors like Ethereum, Solana.
Is it just the usual October seasonal thing or something more?
Well, October is definitely a known pattern. But the analysis suggests this surge might have more legs. There seems to be significant institutional inflow driving it, not just retail FOMO. That could indicate a more sustained, robust rally backed by bigger players. Time will tell, obviously.
Always does in crypto. Okay, finally, a little moment of historical perspective, often overlooked. Patrick Collison tweeted about stumbling upon a landmark. I was walking to the office in New York this morning and noticed an arrestingly beautiful high-rise above me. Turns out it was the Woolworth building, which I'm a bit embarrassed to say I'd never noticed or heard of before.
It's funny how we can walk past history. The Woolworth building. It's an icon. completed way back in 1913. For 16 years, it was the tallest building in the world, a real testament to early 20th century ambition and engineering.
And what's the amazing footnote about it?
The finances. F.W. Woolworth, the five-and-dime store guy, paid the entire $13.5 million construction, cost a fortune back then, entirely in cash. No debt.
Paid cash for the world's tallest building.
Yep. A monument to debt-free commerce. Just shows a different kind of ambition, maybe from a different era. Pretty amazing when you think about it.
Wow. What a ride today. We went from global compute dominance and secret virtual machines and fonts, all the way to Fed rates driving layoffs and the tragic human cost of crises playing out on city streets.
It really is a snapshot, isn't it? The daily feed throws these contrasts into such sharp relief. On one side, you have this almost unimaginable wealth generation, that $500 billion OpenAI valuation, the $8.5 million average payout, the crypto surge, exponential liquidity, and right alongside it, you see the struggle, the institutional challenges in managing the fallout, the public safety crisis in SF, the data poisoning risks, the economic pressures from rate hikes. It's all happening at once. So the question it leaves me with is, if we have the technical ingenuity to, say, pack a language model into a font file, where's the real bottleneck now? Is it the tech itself? Or is it our collective ability, our institutions' ability to manage the profound social and economic consequences of that power? What are we actually investing in solving?
A heavy thought to end on. That is the vibe for today. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.